Okay, welcome back to another exciting edition of Break Time with Kit. Let's play Shadowkeep. Where we left off, I had just finished getting everyone ready for another trip down Blueberry Lane. So let's get started. Well, that Cauldron's Wand wasn't quite as devastating as I remember. I think the big thing is that, yeah, it only took away... Actually, it might have only been one power that it took away. I think she had 15. But yeah, it didn't take away very much power, and you know, it's actually probably confusing with the fact that it's a lot more effective when you have like your entire party invoking the Cauldron's Wand all at once. So if you have like 6 people invoking Cauldron's Wand, then the monsters just get obliterated. Alright, let's move along. Of all the people that I would probably rather try to negotiate with, it's definitely goblins, because they're not very strong at all. And if I'm going to have a group in there to negotiate with, I'd like it to be troll. Let me rephrase that. If I'm going to have a group where there's people in the back row, I definitely want it to be trolls in the back row, because trolls and goblins do not cast spells, and that is a lifesaver a lot of the time. You hate to have that back row get an attack off. So that's the illusion spell. I believe what that's going to do is going to protect us from getting ambushed by monsters. Side note, that took about 4 power to do. Let's sleep for 9 hours and see. Okay, so 2 seconds into it, I realized that in fact it is not going to protect us. Oh, forget that. Yeah, it in fact completely protected us. So there you have it. And I know some of you might have been wondering, why didn't you just try to go to sleep again? Because exactly what happened there, the illusion spell wore off. I didn't want that to happen while I was sleeping. So I'm going to try it again now. And that's one of the semi-annoying things that even though you have the illusion, and there you go, only after about 4 hours it expended its energy. And now I'm in the middle of sleeping, and I'm probably going to wake up to an attack. Thankfully I did not, which means I am going to save here. And let's move along. Spell. And let's sleep for 5 hours and see if it lasts. Oh, on the bright side, we're not actually going to be attacked here. Let's try sleeping for 3 hours now. Hopefully the spell will remain. No, yeah, well, it's just enough. Cast that illusion spell again. Yes, I need a verb to cast. And nope. Just really want everyone to be able to have a good time. Only one troll, but he's gonna run away. Should be able to sleep probably for about, it seems to me that the spell lasts for about 3 to 4 hours. There are just a ton of monsters here, and it's not wanting to cooperate. Let's sleep for 1 hour. There we go, we got it. Sleep 1 hour again. Yep, got it. Sleep. Oh, there goes the illusion spell. So it did last a decent amount of time. I've got a decent amount. Well, I need to change my order again, but it looks like most of us are in good spirits. So let's order it up and move on. Okay, so I'm not sure, I guess, why I thought the fireball spell was so amazingly powerful, because it didn't even kill the monsters. Yeah, I remember that spell being a lot more powerful. I don't know if maybe it's later on as your mages get more powerful, it becomes more powerful, but that was kind of underwhelming. I expected it to really just wipe them out, and it didn't. Well, there you go. Alright, so as promised, I'm going to give you some rundown on the spells and yeah, the weapons are it just kind of is what it is with the weapons. Some of them have greater percentages of attacking, some of them don't. They're all, even the best weapon only has an extra 15% chance of hitting, from what I can see. There's some weapons take away power. So there's like one called the Soul Eater Sword that takes away power, but it's very, very effective. But yeah, some of them have this. The guide isn't exactly the best guide in the world to go by as far as detail. It looks to me like the Bastard Sword is one of the better weapons, as well as the axe. They seem to be two of the better weapons, aside from the there's one, it's called the Soul Eater Sword, one called a Valkum Sword, and one called a Kinslayer Sword, and they all take away power to be able to have that great strength. So I think the axe is actually the most potent weapon that doesn't drain your power, honestly. It obviously weighs a lot and doesn't have the best chances of hitting, or added chance of hitting from what it seems, but there's not a whole lot of detail on that. In any case, I'm going to go into the spells, and first I'm going to go and say that just kind of all it has. You can read this is on textfiles.com, and it's a Shadowkeep text document, but I'll just quick do a rundown of the spells. Flame spell torches a single creature. The thrust spell is the same as flame but more effective, so it's for a single creature and obviously higher power cost. Fireball spell brings effect upon an entire group. See, it's not very detailed. Sunburst spell is a spell with exceptional power. It can work against entire groups and slay demons as well. That one's important, that it can slay demons, because there's going to be some really tough guys later on that we'll need to slay with the Sunburst spell. Freeze locks a single target to inactivity, and Stasis does that except for groups. Protect spell protects a caster against blows. Guardians, same thing as the Protect spell, but stronger. Barrier is a shield between the party and the attackers. Sanctuary is like the barrier but more powerful. Ward protects the caster from the enemy, and the Fortress is same as Ward except for the group. So a lot of these spells are basically the same but more powerful, or the same but for a group, essentially. Luminance spell is obviously a torch, magical torch. Reveal spell is the same as Luminance but lasts longer. Heal spell says soothes and heals those who receive its application. Hit points are restored. So apparently the heal spell restores hit points. I don't know if it also cures poison as well, like that Death Sheet poison. Doesn't say here. I would have to try it and see. Luckily, we have not been poisoned by a Death Sheet yet. Haste, heightened dexterity is the gift for a short time. Basically just means that you'll be able to attack first. But most of my guys have been attacking first lately, so not really a problem. Zombie spell. Oh God, I never want to use this one. Animation, and it's bad grammar too. Animates a dead adventurer, restores double the hit points, but renders the individual severely disabled. If such a character leaves the tower, he will dissolve and can never return. So I don't think I would ever use that spell. Death spell, victim will be drained of life. Decay, group of enemies will suffer dreadfully at the hands of this unpleasant magic. Dissolve, excises a single foe from this reality. Maim. Here's my favorite spell, is the Maim spell. Listen to this description. Wholly unpleasant, and to be cast against a group of opponents. Because I thought that I was going to cast like a rainbow at them and make them have a great time. No, it's just wholly unpleasant. It's just a really bad time for you, you know. And it's funny because when we get into the power of the spell, so I'm gonna come back to maim spell as the wholly unpleasant spell, like holy, WHOLLY or LLY, wholly, completely unpleasant. Revive obviously brings it back to life. Cantrip spell, I never use this, but it doubles the potency of objects, but only for a price. Cure, damage to the character be cured, no matter how grim the condition. Maybe that's the spell that does it as far as curing things, curing diseases and poison. Fear, plunge a foe into paralyzing fear for a short time. Fire ignites a group of monsters. Perceive, cast a spell to paint a clue about the surroundings. Slay, destroy creatures outright. And another, okay, Darkfire, inflicts a damage on any creature. Illusion, target the spell will ignore the entire party. Moonfire, the spell will bind the foe in its path, thus render it less dangerous. Blind, not bind. Blind the foe. I'm assuming it's blind. Moonfire, it seems like, yeah. So yeah, basically it's a blind spell, which is actually pretty useful. Shift, we saw that before. It takes us to a safe place. Star Flare, and I'm going to get into this in a minute. A huge and terrifying ball of flame which annihilates all creatures in the way. Holy crap, right? Twilight causes monsters to become blinding to the presence of the adventurers and pass by them without notice. So there's that. And then now into the power of the spells. Yes, that maim spell that is wholly unpleasant for the target does a whopping 5 damage. Just to put that in perspective, let's say that the fireball spell does 20 damage. There's the flame spell that does 8 damage and costs about the same amount of power. There's that thrust spell that we were looking at before. Cost 5 power, does 25 damage. But the most important one, I would say, and a Darkfire spell that does 10 damage, costs 2 power. But a little bit better than that maim spell that is wholly unpleasant but only does 5 damage. The Star Flare spell, yes, that does 75 damage. I never realized that did so much damage. Because when I used to play this game, we didn't really ever look at this manual too much. I mean, we just kind of went and played, and we're like, oh yeah, the fireball spell, that one's like, the most powerful, because like all the other critters would use it on us and would wipe us out. And then, the sunburst spell, that was like the epitome of spells. That did 100 damage. Okay. So yeah, the sunburst spell does 100 damage, and the Starflare spell does 75 damage. Never had any idea that that was so potent of a spell, but apparently so. Yes, that one quite amazing. And then there's also the Coldrum's Wand, which it uses 1 power and does 10 damage. So that's honestly, in the early goings when we don't have a lot of power, that's pretty flippin' good. There's a couple of other things that we can use, like some staves and rods and cloaks and things like that that'll I think give us more mana and allow us to cast a lot of spells, but I just don't have enough goldens right now to get all of those. So we're gonna have to press on, and probably gonna, first things first, get a Cauldron's Wand for every party member so that we can effectively take out critters with limited power consumption. Yeah, we're gonna end it here, and we'll see you in the next video where we will have more of the nice little blue level, do some more exploring down here, and hopefully we will get some more goldens and get some of those spells and Cauldron's Wands so that we can have a much better and easier time. And we will see you guys in the next one.